Okay. So we got the paint density when that's turned up to 100 or 1 being 100%. It will paint it in fully. If I hit shift and the erase density is at 0, it'll erase everything. So what's cool is you can create a little path if you want, for the character. Give an idea. Maybe you could put like, an item out here that they can see then, or just, put out another object. So maybe you can make a shrine out here. But so that's the foliage tool. And you can add other things to it. Like you could add more foliage to the area. I'm gonna try to put a rock in there. Just hit OK, foliage rock type. So you have these 2 checkboxes. I'm gonna uncheck that one because I don't want to paint grass with my rock. I just want to paint the rock in. So you can see it obviously painted like one rock on top of itself a ton of times. That's because my paint density is at 100%. So if you want, you can change that. But it'll still put them on top of each other. So, but you could sit there and make like an entire quarry real quick or something. Make a beach. Yeah, just by painting in these rocks real quick. And all we're doing is putting static mesh in here. So just for fun, you can paint whatever you want in there. So, I have an entire army of statues now or whatever. Maybe you decided at this castle they manufacture statues of a particular person, and they just keep manufacturing them. There's just a giant warehouse of them or something. So you can put whatever you want in there, Put your rocks in there, like we did the other one, but I'll put this large rock in there. Just make sure whatever, you want to be painted is being selected. So, there you go. It's not showing it there because it might be showing it behind it. Or it's just not present there because of the stretching of it. So that's the foliage. So we got the landscape that we did today. We went over the foliage, and I showed you how to pull in your packs from Epic Games, add the project, pick your project, and then just start putting them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save all. It's going to save everything that I did in my map. It's going to save all my levels. I should have locked these, but I was only working with my landscape, so everything should be okay. If you're ever confused or can't remember, see, maybe it didn't. See, landscape appears to not be. So I'll have to figure out. No, oh, that's why. It's grayed out because I was in the foliage mode. Okay, so yeah, it is there because I'm in the levels. I have my environment landscape highlighted in that blue. Or if you can't see blue well, it's bold in comparison to the other text. And then everything else is grayed out except for my landscape, so that I know it's all there, so that's good. So I did save all. I always do it a couple times just to make sure. You never know. And last thing I'll show you in this video, we'll go to this Infinity Blades one, Grasslands. I'm gonna go with this map. I'm gonna go to Elven Ruins. Loading the map. Might take a while depending on the power of your computer. I'm sure this map's gonna have a lot of assets in it. They'll probably be the same ones used over and over again. Okay, so it's starting to load up this map. It says compiling shaders down here, message log, repaired this, repaired that. Looks like we're all good with that. One thing you could do to try to compile the shaders faster is go to blueprints, go to open level blueprint, or another blueprint if you have one in there. And then I'm going to put this in here. And sometimes the shaders will go down faster. It'll compile faster because they're not processing them on your screen at this time. They're in the background behind this blueprint. So I think for some reason it just makes it run a little faster. Once you start getting projects this big, they can take a lot of time. Especially as we saw, this had a lot of shaders. I think it started around just under 900. I've seen them up to 2,500 and 3,000, whatever. So it's not abnormal when you get to the end of the project or closer to the full scale of the project. That's going to take longer to load, and depending on how fast your computer is, it could take 20, 30 minutes to load if you have that much stuff in there. So don't get worried if it's taking a while and it's really processing everything. So you can see here, this is the map level they use to build just something to look cool, to show off their assets. So I'm just going to fly around here real quick. So they just built their own landscape look like. So we got some mountains here. It's a static mesh actor, actually. So see, it's a good idea to maybe go into these maps. You can see exactly how they used it. So that whole thing's just a mesh that they built. See? Just gonna put that back down. So yeah, so they're just layering that stuff on top of each other. They got some nice water here. Water plane. Here's a little tip for you. You have these buttons right here. This one right here, this eyeglass one, the magnifying lens, spyglass, I guess. Click on that and it'll take you right to that static mesh. In this case, if I do it to this one, it'll take me to this material. And then it'll bring me to that static mesh, though. It'll bring me into that folder, show you exactly where it's at. And then obviously, because it's in this folder, it shows everything else that's also in this folder. So if you're looking to use a water asset, there might be one right in here. Sorry, sometimes it pulls up into weird things. And then should have added the material to it. So it didn't add the material to it for some reason. So what I can do is I can go to here. This is the material. I got highlighted. I have it highlighted, I should say. Click this. While that's highlighted, click on the static mesh. Hit this arrow. Sorry, we want to go to that arrow. I'm putting that material onto the material, so it's not going to go to static mesh. So I put it there, and then it automatically put it right in there. So if you're looking to build water, check to see if you can get this Infinity Blade Grasslands, or if there was another asset pack, they might already have it in there. And the reason I say that is if I open this up, it'll show you how to make this. So this is all of the different textures and different ways that they use. Like you have a panner up here that's to get the water to flow in a certain direction, and they have these multipliers, and they have different signs, and you have powers. So all these things are done is to make it go in a certain direction, to maybe make it speed up at a certain time, or to go at different rates. So like a sign, like this sign right here, is going to make it fluctuate in a certain way. So all this stuff is designed in this particular material to give this effect. So sorry, I'm trying to zoom in on it for you so you could see that's the effect that they got with all of this work here. So that's what goes into making a material like that. That's just the material for that water. That's to get the lighting, to get the reflection, to get the movement. See how it's kind of moving one way, but it's kind of moving back the other way a little bit. So there's all these optical illusions that they're doing, to give us a sense of this is real water. All right, so I'm going to delete that. And then real quick, we'll just go look at this real quick. I'll hit F to zoom in. And then you can see they have these different parts that they use. And like I said, use the spyglass here, and you can find out where it's at. So, you can see how they use this wall, these different walls many times over. Or just you can see that there. Small planes, room building, small planes, room building, small planes. It's all the same, they're all right here. So they used a lot of the same things over and over and over again, but if you do it in a certain way, and you learn to rotate it, or just put it in different creative ways, there's a lot of things you can make in a scene with a very small amount of stuff. Now, obviously, if you were a modeler making all these, that's not a small amount of stuff to model and make. But once you've made it, it's done. And, if it's done properly, it's all set. And then you can use it forever, essentially. Or at least until a new process comes out. Maybe you can retexture it or something if it make it look clearer. But you can see this is the pack that I pulled in to mine. And there's a bunch of different ways you can design it. So they have a nice, cool, like Greek-looking temple ruins. And then they have this door here, obviously, that goes to nowhere, but we get the sense that there's a castle in here, or was, Okay. So that's this specifically is the Infinity Blade Grasslands. Let me see real quick if there is, just so you know. I don't think I'm not sure if the Infinity Blades ones are always on the permanently free. And of course, they're not in alphabetical order. You have water materials right there. So if you're looking for a water one, definitely grab that. Procedural Nature Pack. An Advanced Village one. I think the Advanced Village one probably has cool trees and grass and stuff like that. And I think you'll have like more low poly, kind of cartoonish looking structures. So if that's the look you're going for, that's a cool asset pack probably to check out. Doesn't look like the Infinity Blade ones that I have are free in the permanently free collection. Just keep your eyes open on the, free for the month. Maybe they'll bring them back. Or possibly check to see if Infinity Blades has their own website and if they give them out for free. Otherwise, just you can build an entire environment with everything they have in here. You don't need any of the Infinity Blades ones to do it. You have all the nature ones that you need. There's some sci-fi ones if you want to go sci-fi route, and there is water. So I would definitely get the water ones because It doesn't matter what environment you're going to be in. Water is always a necessity at some point, because even if you're in space, you might have a leak or something, or whatever. And you can also probably, to a certain degree, make the water look like blood if you needed to, and you can always play around with those materials in there. So you could, unfortunately, this is saving right now. You could go in here and you could start deleting stuff and changing it, which, if you're going to do that, that's cool. I would probably duplicate that, so that way you can always go back to your previous one, just so you don't have to re-import it, the whole thing again, because you have to. The only way I know how to do it is when you put something in to your project, you have to add the entire folder of your project. I can't just select a specific model out of that project. Once you have it in your project, you can delete it out of your project. So if you were like, hey, I only really want a couple statues out of this whole pack, pull in the whole pack, and then you can delete everything except for those 2 statues or whatever you wanted. But what you could do is you have this planes material. Let's see. Let's go to this one. So I'll just do. Sorry. Okay. So I just wanted to find the material, because what I would do if I were you, if you were trying to fool around with this and just play around with it, get the idea of what it can do, the material editor, right click, duplicate, and then I would just rename this. You can just rename it with the number, or rename duplicate, or just name throwaway or whatever. Test, just something to differentiate obviously from this one. So then maybe if you really screwed up on this and you just don't like how it did, and you don't want to go back to it, and you can just delete it, and then it'll say, hey, do you want to delete this? Are you sure? Yes. If it's attached to something, then it'll give you, hey, this is gonna break a bunch of stuff. Like it says, are you sure you want to get rid of this? These references, are to something in this level, use as a last resort. So if you see this and it has all this, you double check what you're doing. Make sure that you're in the right spot. Don't just hit delete immediately or replace references. You might want to hit cancel. All right. Well, that is the end of this video for landscapes, and also some of the bringing in the landscape tools to help you out. Thank you very much. Have a good day.